Today we have a detailed comparison between two of Royal Enfield's most iconic models, the Interceptor 650 and the Meteor 650. The word interceptor generally refers to something or someone that intercepts, which means to stop, catch, or take control of something on its way from one place to another. In a military context, an interceptor is a type of fighter aircraft designed to intercept and destroy enemy aircraft, typically at high speeds. So how fast is the Royal Enfield Interceptor? Is it twice the speed of sound?
Okay, we're going to try a 0 to 100 kilometer per hour test. I'm going to try and time this. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Because the bike reached 100 kilometers per hour easily, I just kept it going to 120, which it comfortably did. Later on, we'll do the same test with the Meteor 650. The name Interceptor harkens back to the original Royal Enfield Interceptor models produced in England during the 1960s and early 70s, which were known for their power and were popular in markets like the United States.
Well, here she is, the Interceptor, the great hope of the British motorcycle industry abroad. At home we are faced with a declining market for machines like this, but in America apparently, and especially in California, the appetite of young Americans for 120 miles an hour plus all steel monsters like this is insatiable. They've got the money to buy the machines and the roads to use them on.
120 miles an hour, no wing mirrors and drum brakes only. Wow, those young Americans were brave. Those interceptors really did go. And now, the Meteor. The word meteor refers to a small body of matter from outer space that enters Earth's atmosphere, becoming incandescent as a result of friction and appearing as a streak of light in the sky. Meteors are often associated with speed, brightness, and an impressive visual impact. And nothing more is true of the Meteor 650. What a stunning looking bike. I'm going to allow this one to be the winner of the visual contest between the Interceptor and the Meteor.
Winner!
And the Meteor has got even more history than the Interceptor, arriving in 1953-54 with the Meteor 700, a twin exhaust parallel twin 700cc beautiful bike.
So we're at the same location again. It's a very bright afternoon. I'm struggling to see anything. I do feel this bike will be slightly slower than the Interceptor. Reason being, it's heavier, and also I've changed the gearing ratio on the back with my belt drive upgrade. So I do think this is going to be a slower bike. It'll be interesting to me, this test also. I am also very interested in the results of this test. Okay, Super Meteor 650 speed test. 0 to 100 and 0 to 120 kilometers per hour. Let's see how we get on. Here we go. Traffic is clear. 3, 2, 1.
And here I fluffed up, guys. I do apologise. I'm going to have to restart and do this again.
4, 3, 2, 1.
am so surprised by this result. The Interceptor felt like a faster bike. My belt drive gear ratio changed the bike from stock gearing 2.66 to 1 to a higher 2.05 to 1, which is very similar to the Interceptor. The only thing that stood out to me that was different between the two tests was the non-dipping of the front forks between gear changes on the Meteor compared to the standard chain drive on the Interceptor. People in the past have said there would be a loss of power in a belt drive compared to a chain drive, but you have just witnessed the smoothness of gear changing at maximum acceleration on a belt drive, something I have never done before and doubt I will do again. I'm an old cruiser guy, not a racer, but still an interesting test and a surprising comparison. The engines are the same, more or less, and both bikes have speed-related names. Let's look at the main differences on the bikes. The main differences are the seat heights. The Meteor has a low 740mm seat, where the Interceptor comes in at 790mm. The Meteor is a heavier bike, coming in with a wet weight of 241 kilograms, where the Interceptor comes in 24 kilograms lighter at 217 kilograms. Wheel sizes are different also. The Meteor has a 19-inch front wheel, where the Interceptor is 18-inch front and back, and the Meteor has a 16-inch rear wheel. And last of all, the standard bikes have a different gearing ratio. I think this was to allow for the heavier Meteor, but I've changed mine and it doesn't really have an effect.
The best of Royal Enfield, but not looking in their best condition. Rainy season here in Thailand. You ride on the roads for more than 10 minutes, the bikes are filthy. I'm going to give them a quick clean. So that's the bikes quickly cleaned up, and I'm feeling the heat already. I'm going to take the Interceptor out for a test drive. It's a bike that I didn't decide to buy, and I'll explain the reasons why as we're taking the bike out for a ride. So the Interceptor has a much deeper, throatier noise to it, and a very similar sound to the Royal Enfield Shotgun when I test rode that. Video link here, and I have ridden other Interceptors before. I actually rode Robert's Interceptor before, his highly modified Interceptor, the first Interceptor with a belt drive fitted, and Robert is the clever guy that invented the belt drive for the Meteor 650. So if you want to see that video, here's another link. So straight away, I remember why I never bought this bike. To put my legs straight down, the foot peg's right in my shin. I can't even walk the bike backwards without the pegs being in my way. Absolutely awful. Don't like it. That's the only reason I didn't buy this bike 2.5 years ago, because of the foot pegs. However, there's been a modification that I've seen lately where people are putting foot pegs forward, the same as the Meteor 650, like a conversion kit. And they're turning the Interceptor into a bobber.
After riding both bikes back to back, here is my personal conclusion. Styling and looks, the Meteor wins hands down. Handling, the Meteor eats corners. I felt a little bit unstable being higher up on the Interceptor, so again the Meteor wins. Comfort, however, the Interceptor wins hands down. The stock front and rear suspension is far superior than the Meteor's, and again the Interceptor wins on the sound when comparing the stock exhaust. I also prefer the weight and better turning circle of the Interceptor. When it comes to tech, the Meteor does have the tripper navigation as standard. It is good if you persevere with it, and also the fuel cap on the Meteor is genius.
Isn't that just so much better when you're refueling, right? So much better, so much easier. That's a win to the Meteor.
Lastly, the price of the Interceptor is lower, so it wins here. If it wasn't for the pegs, I think I'd be riding an Interceptor, to be honest. An idea has sprung to mind. I'm going to visit Ancient Biker for a second opinion on these pegs. It may be just me.
I'm perfectly dressed for it, as you can see.
You're on candid camera, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah.
This is the boss's Bonneville.
I see there's a Triumph underneath there, yeah.
It's an old, he said it's the last of the carburettors, I think.
All right, okay.
So, here's the Ancient Biker. Are you going to have a go on the Interceptor?
That's the plan. That's the plan.
Carburetors, and this is definitely the style of exhaust I would like to see on my Meteor 650.
I think it's quite good that they're next to each other because these are considered to be competitors too, aren't they?
Yes, yes,
The Bonneville and the Interceptor.
but no competition on price.
No, that's the huge difference.
Yeah.
But they're very similar in character, I suppose, aren't they? In style and everything.
I do like the exhaust on this. I would love to get something like this on my Meteor.
Right, Patrick, here we are again. I'm sorry to ambush you on your day off. I didn't realise you were on a day off with your lovely lady today. So we're just going to take 5 minutes of your time, that's all.
No problem.
So you've had a quick ride of the Interceptor.
Yeah.
And it's just your initial impressions is what I'm after.
Very nice bike, yeah. I mean, I have ridden the Interceptor before, but actually for even less time than I rode it today, which wasn't very long. And the last time I rode it was, yeah, up and down the street, so I had no proper impression of it. And today I had a little bit more, and yeah, it's a nice bike. And I can see, even having just ridden it for a few minutes today, I can see why, you know, why it's got a big fan community.
It definitely has got a big fan base, and it was pretty much Royal Enfield's first big sales bike. The Bullet was, the Bullet 500 was okay, but when the Interceptor arrived, that's when it exploded. So the only thing that I find with the bike, because I'm a short-legged person, 28-inch inside leg, is whenever I put my feet down, the foot pegs are right in my shins.
Oh yeah.
So I can't put them in front of the foot pegs, I can't put them behind the foot pegs. I have to go straight down, and the pegs are straight in my shins. And I can't accept the bike for that reason. That's the only thing I've got against the Interceptor are the foot pegs. What is your inside seam?
Probably 31 or something like
31,
that.
yeah.
I don't know, I'm not sure. But it's certainly okay for me to, I think I was flat-footing it when I stopped at the lights. So, no, that wasn't a problem. And maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, and maybe I'm conscious of wearing these very unsuitable white pants today. So I was conscious of where I put my legs down and didn't want to have oil and marks on them. So maybe that's the reason I didn't have that problem with the foot pegs. I don't know whether you can reposition the foot pegs.
Yeah, so
probably can.
Last weekend, or the weekend before, I went to Bangkok and I found a shop selling lots of accessories, and they're now selling a conversion kit to convert to forward pegs.
I was going to say, in your case, because you're a big cruiser fanatic or fan at least,
And
you'd probably want to have forward pegs on them.
Yeah. And what seems to be the craze for tyres at the moment, they want the Meteor 650, but they can't really afford one. The Interceptors are coming up really cheap second hand.
Second hand, yeah.
Yeah, they're really cheap second hand. So they're converting Interceptors into Meteors.
Well, yeah, you can do that
Cheaply.
Yeah.
So I've found some photos. I'm going to try and put them on this video actually. And that's one thing I would consider just for a project, is to buy an Interceptor and make some videos converting it. It will never be the same as the Meteor, obviously.
Yeah.
And to keep it legal in Thailand, you're not allowed to cut the frame or anything. So you would have to cut the frame to make the seat lower. But I've seen people, what they're doing is they're really shortening the suspension on the back and tilting the frame straight down. And then they're lowering it that way.
Yes.
And it seems to work.
And as you said yourself, it rides quite differently even from yours, although yours has got exactly the same engine in it.
It's the same engine.
Yeah.
But comfort-wise, the Interceptor, it eats the bumps. I've been going over some severe bumps today.
Yes.
I haven't noticed them at all.
Yes, it is
so
a comfort bike.
That's standard rear suspension, standard front suspension, so much better than the Meteor.
Yeah.
So the Meteor's definitely got a problem. I can't really put my finger on why that is, apart from the swing arm is very long on it, and the rear wheel is right at the end of the swing arm, and I just think it amplifies the bumps. Right, Patrick, thank you very much for your time.
Welcome.
I'm going to get you back to your lovely lady.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up with you again.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Trevor.
Thank you, Patrick, aka the Ancient Biker. He has got his own channel. Check him out. If only Royal Enfield could combine the good points of the Interceptor and the Meteor, they'd be on a winner. As always, I would be very interested on what comments you may have on these two bikes. And hopefully you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please give us a like, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Teacher T Thailand. I look forward to seeing you on a video soon. Until then, ride safe.